Sheriel opened her eyes, then thought, where is she? Is she dead? But what happened? Suddenly, unknown memories flooded her mind, and she couldn't regain her senses. She needed to rest. The maid spoke. Master. He's come here without warning, the master replied. He thought she would scream and throw things as soon as he saw him. Sheriel thought, who is this person? He is so big. The maid told him, Master, his wife had an accident and needs to rest, so if he can leave today, please. The master replied, yes, it has always been like this. Lady, how she even acts as if she is falling. He should have held on a little longer. He won't be in the mansion for a while. Sheriel thought she is definitely dead. He is her husband. They even seem to be on bad terms. Something is strange. The maid told her, Lady, she must remain absolutely calm. She just woke up after an accident. Sheriel thought about her head. Memories of an unknown person kept popping up in her mind. Then she saw herself in the mirror and thought, silver hair that reaches up to her waist, bright eyes. The greatest beauty of the empire, Duchess of the noble duchy of Loparum, the mother, who neglects the young male lead of the empowered romantic fantasy novel. This is crazy. She has possessed a character in the novel that she was reading. In the original work, there wasn't even information about the male lead's mother. She has to keep living here. Why does she have to be the mother of the male lead and not the secondary female lead? The original male lead had a sick obsession. He even killed the secondary character. He might even kill her if he bothers. She thought her relationship with her husband has already been completely broken, but her son is an obsessed psychopath with the female lead in the future too. If she wants to survive without dying, she must first establish a harmonious relationship before it is too late. Then she saw out of the window, that kid is so adorable. She has never seen the young male lead before. Look how cute he is. So that is her boy. The next day, Sheriel asked after the accident how many days she was in bed. The maid replied, she was in bed for days. Sheriel thought her husband, despite their bad relationship, came to her room. But she hadn't heard anything about her son. Could it be that the relationship with her son is worse than she thought? The next scene, Sheriel thought, so he is here, in the original work. Why did she neglect this adorable child? He has cream on his mouth. How cute. Cardessel asked, who is it? Sheriel spoke, hello. How is he? Cardessel asked, what is she doing here? Sheriel replied, she was walking in the garden. If he is enjoying tea time, does he want mom to join him? Cardessel went away. Sheriel thought, is he trying to go somewhere else now? She can't let him go like this. Sheriel spoke, wait, do he have a second for mom? Cardessel shouted, he doesn't need a mother. Sheriel thought, doesn't he need her as a mother? The next moment, Cardessel fell to the ground. Sheriel went toward him. Cardessel stated, get away from him. Don't be nice to him. He knows it's all drama. Sheriel said, wait, his knee is bleeding. Mom will take care of him. Cardessel shouted, stay away. He said he doesn't need her. Then at night, Sheriel thought, looks like he fell heavily. Will he be okay? She is also concerned that Cardessel seems to hate her more than she thought. It's a big problem. She won't be able to see Cardessel in the garden tomorrow. She feels that she has taken away her son's only place where he rested. He must have been surprised and confused by his mother's sudden change of heart. She needs to find a way to get closer more slowly. After some time, Sheriel wrote a note, then told the maid to deliver it to Cardessel. It might be weird to do this now, but she wants to get closer to him. Daisy, the maid, replied, leave it to her. She will definitely deliver it. A few days later, Cardessel woke up and thought, another gift. Why does she keep sending useless things? Now, a teddy bear and a letter. In the letter, she asked, did he sleep well? The weather is very pleasant today. She asked them to prepare his favorite dessert. Please rest in the garden with peace of mind. Mom won't bother him. How is his knee? She also put some ointment. It would be good if he applied it. Cardessel thought she said he was annoyed. Why is she suddenly treating him so nicely? Then the maid came and asked, do he need anything, and what should he do with that? As usual, He would throw it away carefully so the madam doesn't find out, Cardessel stated. Just throw the box away. He will leave the teddy in the room. It's not because his mum gave it to him, but because he liked the teddy. Before leaving, he had a request. After some time, Sheriel was so happy that Cardessel sent her a response. Daisy said, "Congratulations, ma'am." Sheriel read the letter in which he wrote that whether it's letters or presents, don't give them to him anymore. Sheriel said, as she expected, "He gets it was too much at this time, all right." She hoped it would be like this. By the way, Cardessel's handwriting is really pretty. Still, she is happy she received a response from him for the first time. Daisy stated, "It's because he has not known her yet. It is the first time that Madam shows interest in him. It may be an out-of-place comment, but she is glad because this is the first time she sees Madam smile since she arrived here." Sheriel thought she had never laughed in the Duke's house. By the way, they all had grim expressions, as if they feared that something bad could happen, more than they were worried about her. She doesn't remember anything about the dukedom. Sheriel asked if she were closer to Cardessel, would he hate her anymore? She doesn't even know where Cardessel is right now. The maid replied, "All the maids know that these days, the young master has been going to the garden earlier than usual." Sheriel thought, but she said she wouldn't bother him anymore. The next scene, Sheriel pretends like she had no choice, but is this really a good idea? What should she say first when they meet? Wow, he is really here. Sheriel asked if his wound was better. Cardessel replied it was not too big. Sheriel thought the medicine was applied to it greatly. He came to the garden before her, but he had not had a bite of the dessert. Then she asked if he could be waiting for her. Cardessel replied, "Of course not." Sheriel said, "Mom thought he wouldn't be here today." Cardessel replied, "This is a place he usually came. There is no reason to leave because someone else has arrived." Sheriel asked if they could sit together. Cardessel replied, "No." Sheriel thought he is still cautious with her, but he didn't leave yet. She asked, "So is it okay if she just looks?" Cardessel replied, "Okay." Sheriel stated thanks. She will make sure not to disturb his rest. Then she thought he is finally eating. They say children can see through people. Today he is even more adorable and cute than usual. Then a week later, although Sheriel in the original does not seem very active in social circles, the invitations are endless. There is no need to go to social circles at the moment. Copying and pasting formal apologies, she doesn't have much time and it seems annoying. She is busy watching Cardessel in the garden. The maid asked Madam if she didn't mind. Could she ask her a question? Is she attempting to get closer to the young master these last days? Sheriel replied they are getting closer slowly. Why did she ask? The maid replied about the contents of her diary. Is it a notebook of observations of people who do not like her? Sheriel said it's not possible. She has only taken notes of how cute Cardessel is. So what should she write about today? Seeing him again. She only wrote what she thought he was cute. She doesn't see the problem. The maid asked if she is writing about how cute he is. Why doesn't she show it to the young master? Sheriel said, "Do she think they will become closer if she shows it to him?" The maid replied she thinks it would be a good opportunity to talk to the young master, then thought the lady has clearly lost her mind. Sheriel stated that seems like a good idea. Thanks, she will be back in a while. After that, Sheriel thought how his room would be decorated. Since he is still a child, it must be cute. It must be cute if it were full of toys. She is so nervous she can't even knock on the door. Calm down, she can do this. Cardessel asked who is it? Sheriel said hello, then said wait a minute. She came because she wanted to show him something. Cardessel opened the door. Then he said he would let her come only because of the chocolate he ate. Sheriel thought his room is very different from how she imagined his reaction. Then she spoke, as expected. He did not throw the teddy and he is even treating it with care. Cardessel replied he only has it because he didn't want to throw it away. So what did she want to show him? Sheriel replied this. Mom wrote. Would he like to read? Cardessel spoke this, and got angry and used his firepower to burn the diary. Sheriel stated, Castle. The next moment he calmed down. Sheriel thought it's Duke Loperron's skill. According to the description of the novel, Only the one who inherited it could become the heir of the family. He can use it, her son is so cool. Then she said if he does it again she won't let it go. Cardessel asked why did she call him that. Sheriel thought does he hate that she called him Cardessel. Then she asked, do he want mom to call him Castle? She thought this child is dedicated and pure grown to be. She doesn't want to see how he harms others, imprison the female lead, and also harms her. If Castle is loved enough and learns how to love, his future must also change. So now she must take the role of his mother, Sheriel said. Castle, could he give mom 10 minutes of his time a day? Cardessel asked what the reason was. Sheriel replied, she is sorry to be late. Mom wants to teach Cardessel one thing at this time. Then she thought about how to treat someone with respect, how to care for and love others because no one would have taught this child that. Cardessel replied, all right, only 10 minutes. The next day, Sheriel thought he is such a lovely child. How can he become a male lead who harms and imprisons others, as no one has ever consoled him? He didn't know how to give and receive love correctly. Cardessel asked what she was thinking. Sheriel replied she was wondering what she should tell him first, then asked what he would do if he received a precious bird. Cardessel replied, bird. Should he make a nice bird cage, as she said it was beautiful? He would keep him in the cage so he didn't go anywhere. If he released him, he would escape. Sheriel thought, no matter how much she thinks about it, she feels like he can see the male lead's sinister outbreaks. Sheriel said. Mom was surprised that his thoughts were deeper than expected. Should he read a book with mom next time? Cardessel replied he liked it. Sheriel thought, where did it go wrong? Is the male lead a special waste material from the beginning? What is she going to do? After some time, the maid asked if she was waiting for the master. He would be back soon. Sheriel thought she is talking about that big handsome man she saw the first day she was possessed, Sheriel's husband and Cardessel's father. Raising children is something a couple does together. Should they take this opportunity to talk naturally and become friends? Sheriel asked when the Duke said he would return. The maid replied if there were no schedule changes, he would return in 2 days. Then she asked Madam, this is a gross question, but will he stay in another place the day the master returns? Sheriel asked why she was asking. The maid replied these days the lady worries a lot about the master. Since then, the mansion has come back to life and she is grateful. Then she would like to ask her a favor. When the master comes back, can she welcome him just once? Sheriel thought how bad the original Sheriel got alone with her husband. Then she replied, of course she will welcome him. What is she doing here? Immediately inform the Duke's servants. She will give a great welcome to the Duke who has returned. Then she thought a cute boy becomes a male lead with blood on his hands. She will never let that happen. Everyone should be busy getting ready in a hurry. She also finished organizing documents. Wait a moment. What was her husband's name? The next scene, the Duke said he did not want to go back. One of the knights spoke because of the lady. Then he apologized and thought did he want to die? The Duke replied, stop it. Looks like they will be there soon. Stop saying unnecessary things. After that, he thought he is sure he will knock on the door. He doubts she is in the mansion. The next moment, maids welcomed him. Duke thought why is everyone outside? Then he was shocked. Sheriel was there. She spoke that she had been waiting for him. Duke asked his knight, is he hallucinating? Call the doctor as soon as he gets in. The knight replied, it is not a hallucination. Sheriel spoke, the wind is pretty cold. Let's go inside together. Duke asked what she was thinking to annoy him. Sheriel replied, what is she thinking? Nothing. He have worked hard. Come in. Please. Duke thought. Was she waiting for him? She had an accident. Maybe does she have a problem with her memory? Sheriel asked if he was going to stay there. She had asked them to prepare food that he would like. Was he not curious? After some time, Duke thought, was she a person who could laugh like that? Then he asked, what are we going to do? Sheriel replied, when we arrive at the dining room, we are going to eat first. Duke asked if something happened at the dining room. Sheriel replied, she guessed he wanted a prepared meal. Let's eat together. She have something to tell him. Duke thought she isn't the kind of person who would say cordially for no particular reason. Cheryl thought she is suffocating. Isn't this too much for a wife who prepared herself from dawn? She has to say something. Then she said she had something to tell him. But first, wasn't the expedition difficult? It was not an easy task. Duke replied she said things she doesn't usually say. Cheryl spoke. She only said because it worries her. Duke stated. It worries her. She would rather he hurt himself. Wouldn't she? Cheryl shouted. It is not like this. Duke said he sees that she wants to do things she has not done before. Cheryl thought she has told herself. She has already foreseen this. Cheryl said they have a son. She wanted to talk to him about his education. Duke replied she said she hates him. Now does she want them to raise their son together? She became strange since the accident. Cheryl told him she is perfectly okay. Duke said, let's think about it together. Duke stated, stay away. Does she think he is going to be deceived by her acting skills? Cheryl replied, is she acting? It's not like that. Then she thought it's the same for Cardessel. It doesn't matter if she tries. She wants to solve it well with the conversation. But why is he upset? It hurts. She doesn't want her sweet son to grow up like a secondary male lead. Duke said she has nothing else to say. He will leave. Cheryl thought she hasn't finished saying what she wanted yet. Then she said, wait. The next moment she was going down. Duke held her and asked if she was all right. Cheryl said she knows he doesn't like her, but for the sake of their son, she did well. Duke shouted, call a doctor right now. Cheryl thought she must finish this, but it hurts so much that she can't even speak. Duke asked why she fainted. Cheryl replied, why? Even though she said hi, he replied coldly. If he looks at her with that scary expression and doesn't say anything while we're eating, anyone would faint. Does he hate me that much? Duke replied, does she hate him? Cheryl thought, did the original Cheryl hate her husband? Why? Duke stated, even if he get a little closer, she were yelling at him and throwing pillows. She is acting like someone who doesn't remember anything. Her hands are really cold. Even if it's uncomfortable, stay like this for a while. Be patient. The resident doctor of the mansion will be here soon. The next moment, the doctor arrived. Duke stated, take a good rest. Cheryl asked, wait a minute. Then she thought they haven't had a proper conversation yet. The next day, she thought she still does not feel well. She wants to make a harmonious family for Cardessel. Is there any other way to get closer to her husband? The plan to have dinner together in private failed. She doesn't even want to try it again. What is she supposed to do now? Then someone knocked at the door. Cheryl thought, who is it? She told Daisy not to let anyone in. Could it be Cardessel? Then Cardessel came. Cheryl was so happy. Cardessel spoke. He heard it from the maid. The maid said she fainted. Take it quickly. Eating it will make her feel better. Cheryl replied, thanks for thinking of her. Cardessel replied he didn't come here to hear that. The maid told him to come. Cheryl replied, but Mom wants to thank him. She is glad that he came. Then she thought, why is he looking at her like that? Cardessel thought she thanked him. Cheryl asked if he was worried because she touched his head. Cardessel replied, don't touch me like that again. Cheryl apologized. She don't do that again. Then he said, if she is tired enough to pass out, don't eat with father. Cheryl asked, is he worried? Cardessel replied, not at all. Cheryl thought, how can he be so clumsy when telling a lie and still be so cute? Then she said, still, she have to force herself. Once she get used to it, she won't get sick anymore. Cardessel asked if she's really trying hard right now. Cheryl replied, yes, because he is his father and her husband, and thought she also don't want to eat with someone scary like him. This is just for him. Then he shouted, is he more important than him? Now she is going to spend time with father. It was like this during the meal too, leaving him out. Cheryl thought, no way does he feel excluded. Then she said, he is the most important one for Mom, more than other people. The time she spends with him is the best and the most valuable. Cardessel replied he didn't ask that exactly. Cheryl thought his voice was cold. Wasn't that why? That is correct. He still doesn't like her very much. Suddenly he hugged her, then said, Mom. Go back to sleep now. When she is sick, she needs to rest to get better, to have pleasant dreams. She must first eat the bear chocolate that he gave her. Do she understand? Cheryl hugged him while saying she will do what Cardessel says. A few days later, Cheryl asked if Cardessel would like it. The maid replied it's the high-quality information provided by the chef. She is sure he will love it when he finds out that Madame prepared it. In the next scene, Cardessel asked if she's okay now. Cheryl replied, yes, she got better thanks to his work. Thanks for his time today. Then she said she brought it to eat with Castle. Would he like to try it? Cardessel thought it tastes like walnuts. Then he took a bite. Cheryl asked if he liked it. Cardessel replied it is horrible. Cheryl thought she should have added more sugar. Is the dough undercooked? What is the problem? Then she said Mom has been very bad since it was her first time she did it. Cardessel asked if she did it herself. Cheryl replied she heard Castle likes it. She has never could beef her, so she may have done something wrong. Cardessel started eating again. Cheryl said that's all right, he doesn't have to eat it. Cardessel replied it is not like this. Why is she worried? He eats it because he likes it. Then he said give him another one. Cheryl said thanks. Mom will work harder for him in the future. Then after some time, Cheryl thought Cardessel was very nice today. He spoke sweetly and ate a lot of cake. For the sake of such a lovely child, she needs to get closer to her husband. Duke asked what's the matter. Cheryl asked while she investigated the internal affairs. There are some things she was not sure about. Could he give her a little of his time? Duke replied he is busy. Both of them thought very cold. Didn't she hear him? He is busy, so leave now. Duke's aide stated he will leave for a moment. Duke replied no need for that. Come here. Both of them were very shocked. Cheryl said, change the environment. Let's talk about it together in the garden. Duke shouted she didn't hear that he is busy, so go now. The aide said he's sorry, but it seems like the Duke is very busy today. It's already late, so please come back tomorrow morning. Cheryl thought it's not difficult. She will have to think of an excuse to go to that office. Up to the following date, Cheryl thought nothing is really important. Then Daisy gave her a letter that is from Marquise. Then she read the letter and thought she refused the invitations. That's weird. She remembered she wrote the letter wrong. Then she stated it's a birthday party. The maid asked birthday party. Isn't it a bit early for her birthday? Should they prepare for it? Cheryl stated that's not it. It looks like she has been taking care of other children's birthdays before Cardessel's birthday. Cheryl thought, looking at the date, it is in 2 weeks, but Marquis de Penzel. She has heard a lot about him somewhere. Then she remembered. He is the supporting protagonist who is killed by Cardessel. She is sure he won't kill him. She can't let Cardessel do that. She will definitely raise him properly. Duke thought after the carriage accident, Cheryl has changed a lot. It's suspicious that she is not looking for him these days. Then he thought before the accident, Cheryl said do not touch her. Duke stated she doesn't even look at him. Cheryl replied, is there any reason why she should be kind to the Duke? He asked just once, can't she at least smile at him this morning? Cheryl replied she has nothing to say, so please go back. Then back at present time, Duke thought she has always been cold to him. He thought he would never see her again, but the way she is behaving now, will she come and smile at him today too? Even though he knows it's in vain, he can't let it go. After that, Duke said it's frustrating to be stuck in this office. He will be out for a while. Aide spoke he is looking for his wife. He heard she goes to the garden very often these days. Duke replied he is speaking nonsense. After some time, Duke thought is this Cardessel's voice? Cheryl asked why does Cardessel call his mother a liar? Cardessel said she always came first with his father. She said he was the most precious. Does she like spending time with his father? Duke thought he is eavesdropping on other people's conversations. He doesn't know he does this. Cheryl replied Mom likes Cardessel more. Duke was shocked. Then she said it's not a lie. That was why she came to see him. To ask him if he wanted to go play with Marquis Penzel's son. His teacher invited her to a birthday party. Would he like to go with Mom? Cardessel asked so should he not bring a gift? Cheryl replied wouldn't it be better if he let her bring it? Cardessel shouted she never brought him a gift. Why did she think everything would be well after so long? Sheriel thought she made a mistake. She should have avoided talking about the gift. Original Sheriel has never celebrated his birthday. Then she remembered Cardessel said, "Mom." Sheriel told him don't call her mom. It is unpleasant to listen to him. Sheriel thought, is this a memory of original Sheriel? It was too much for a child. Cardessel shouted he doesn't need a mother or anyone. He no longer believes in her. Then again, she remembered Sheriel said don't call her that, it makes her angry. Cardessel replied it's his birthday. Sheriel stated so what? Cardessel asked won't he congratulate him just once. Sheriel replied she wished he would stop acting like a child. He said again, Mom. Sheriel felt it's just a brief memory. Her heart is breaking. If only she could have comforted him back then. She could say congratulations. Then she hugged him and apologized. Then thought she got to forgive herself. How could she do something like that to this little child? Cardessel shouted he hates her mom. He really hates her. Sheriel replied she is sorry. Mom left him alone because she couldn't save him, because she couldn't love him, so she is really sorry for leaving her castle alone. That won't happen in the future. She will give him a lot that cannot be replaced by anything else, Cardessel stated, but he hates her. Sheriel replied, but Mom really loves him. After some time, Sheriel asked should they hold a grand banquet for their castle's birthday party. Cardessel replied he doesn't like crowds of people. Sheriel stated Mom wants him to be congratulated by many people. It would be nice. He likes sweet things. If a lot of people gather, the cake will be very big and extravagant. Aren't he curious? It's a special day for him. Is there anything he wants? Cardessel replied, he wants to be congratulated. Sheriel said then Mom will do her best to prepare it. Cardessel asked if he wants to be congratulated before other kids. Sheriel asked so can he give Mom some time tomorrow? They will have a celebration party in his favorite garden. Cardessel replied that's good. Duke thought in the garden, tomorrow is going to be a long day. The next day, Duke thought what a fuss. What was about that? Sheriel said, happy birthday. Cardessel was happy today. Sheriel saw Duke, then thought it would be okay to leave the room for a while. Duke stated while laughing what is she doing now? What is that funny hat? Sheriel replied he thinks it's funny. Do he know how hard she tried to make it? And now as he can see, it's a birthday party. Castle doesn't like crowds of people. She decided to celebrate his birthday at the Duke house. Duke asked why does she keep doing things she hasn't done before? Sheriel thought he has always been chasing people away, but today he has a lot of questions. Then she replied because their Cardessel is cute and pretty. Duke asked didn't she leave him to the nanny to raise because she didn't want to even be touched by him? Sheriel replied it's strange, he is just so pretty and lovely, but why is Duke like that? Duke asked she talks like it's someone else's business, he doesn't think it's acting. Sheriel replied because it's no one else's business anymore. Does he want to raise their child together? Duke stated she has been calling their son by his nickname for a while, but she has always called him Duke. She probably doesn't even know what his name is. Sheriel thought she asked Daisy about it before, but she forgot because she had no reason to call him. Duke said, say his name. Sheriel replied, Kian. Duke thought, did Sheriel just call him by his nickname affectionately? Sheriel said she would like to call him Kian. Does he like it? Then she thought she didn't remember his full name, so she just called him by his nickname. She guessed that she made a mistake. Duke thought she is the one who always used to draw a limiting line for being the Duke. Why all of a sudden is she really opening her heart, if she keeps acting like this? Then he said she can call him whatever she wants. He has some work left, so he supposes he will have to leave. Then Duke ran away. Cardessel came and asked what did she tell to father. Sheriel replied she didn't tell him much. Then she thought, by any chance, did he also want his father to congratulate him? She said she is sorry. His father is upset because Mom didn't invite him to the birthday party. Cardessel replied they just finished the cake. Sheriel told him Mom didn't make it herself, but she has been carefully watching the ingredients for her beloved one. Cardessel asked will she congratulate him again? Sheriel replied, yes, She will always congratulate him because it's the day her precious son was born. Today this party was held for past days. His next birthday will be celebrated with more joy. Cardessel asked, "Sure. Do she promise?" Sheriel thought, why is she suddenly feeling sad? Her heart hurts a lot. Cardessel asked, why is she crying? Sheriel replied, she is fine. Don't worry, he thinks that these are tears of happiness. Then she thought it feels strange. Could it be because of the memories that came to her mind earlier? She feels like she should not be like this when she is happy. A few days later, the maid asked, is she going to see the master now? Sheriel replied, not that. Then thought Cardessel asked, why did she come? He won't speak to someone who doesn't keep his promise. Sheriel replied, something urgent came up, so that's why, although it's okay. Next time he won't accept excuses like that. Remember, he is the most important. And after that, she said she came with tea. Duke replied, sit there. Sheriel thought usually he just orders her to leave. Duke stated, as she can see, he doesn't have much time, but he doesn't mind her sitting with him. She can come whenever she wants. Sheriel replied, thanks. Duke spoke. Now she will come to him first, now back in present time. Sheriel thought she can't be with both of them at the same time. Daisy said she has a good solution for that. Then, how about they all meet together? Both the young master and the Duke will definitely like it. Wouldn't tea time be okay? These days she visits the Duke's office often. How about visiting him with the master? Sheriel replied, she always felt awkward when she went alone, but it will be fun if she goes with Cardessel. In the next scene, Sheriel thought the plan was perfect, but how did it end up like this? She has to do something. Then she said, hey. Cardessel replied, why did she call him? Duke asked, why did she call him? Sheriel replied, no, Duke, she called Castle. Do he remember that he will be going to a birthday party with his mom in a few days? Cardessel replied, yes. Is she talking about going alone with mom? On the other hand, Duke's work status is out of control. Sheriel continued, before they go, he can make a promise to mom. He said it was the birthday of a boy who is about his age. She wants him to get along well together. Cardessel asked, do they really have to get along well? Sheriel replied, have he forgotten what mom taught him? Cardessel replied, no. He remembers everything mom said. He was told that when he meets a friend, he should not ignore or harass them just because he doesn't like them. Sheriel spoke, mom wants him to make friends and have fun. Can he promise her something? Cardessel replied, she doesn't have to say anything, he knows it well. After that, Sheriel asked if he was okay. Can she call the doctor? Duke replied, there is no need for that. His son, is he that good? Sheriel replied, of course. Because he is our son. Duke spoke, yes, our son. Cardessel replied, of course, he is good. Sheriel thought her husband also approves it. Their son is happy even with small expressions of affection and also cute. The next day, Cardessel untied his ribbon, while Sheriel was looking the other way. Then, he said, his ribbon undone. Sheriel replied, mom will tie it for him. Duke asked if she was planning to leave now. Sheriel thought Duke didn't have plans to go out today. Did she get it wrong? Then she asked if he was here to see them off. Duke spoke. He just came out because he had to stop by the headquarters for a while. Aide thought, when is he going to be honest? Sheriel stated. Then please be careful. Aide spoke. Madam, please wait a moment. The Duke and the madam seem to be going in the same direction. How about they two ride a carriage together? Cardessel replied, no, absolutely not. Duke replied he is fine. Sheriel asked if Duke would be uncomfortable because the carriage they prepared today is small. Duke replied, it doesn't matter. Let's go for a ride together. Sheriel thought both are strange today. Why is it like that? Now she gets it. Duke wants to get to know Cardessel, so he wants to ride with him. Cardessel is very shy, so he is spoiled. Duke is working hard for Cardessel, so she should help too. Then she said she will prepare a carriage separately so Duke and Cardessel can ride together. Both of them were shocked. The next moment, Cardessel said he will ride alone. Duke has something he needs to get busy with. Sheriel thought, What, did she make a mistake? Then, in the carriage, Cheryl thought she couldn't send young Cardessel on a ride alone, so they went together. She asked if this is his first time at a party, isn't he excited? Cardessel replied not really. Cheryl thought she guessed she still hadn't resolved her feelings before getting on the carriage. Then she said she heard that Marquis serves really delicious desserts at every party, because Cardessel likes walnut pie. She also asked them to make it with special care. Cardessel said walnut pie. Does she know he is a little kid who likes everything he eats? Cheryl thought, cute. The next scene, Cardessel stated to hold his hand. Cheryl replied thanks. It's a wonderful escort. Then they were welcomed by Mrs. Penzel. After the introduction, Cheryl told him they would be away for a very short time. He can make good on the promise he made to Mom today. After some time, the chat at the table is going very well. One of the noble ladies stated she brought in a dog this time. Do she know how expensive this ransom is? There is something about dogs that don't even listen to their owners. What does the Duchess think? Cheryl replied if her dog won't listen to her, shouldn't it be okay to train it calmly? The other lady spoke. Why train? Is it necessary to keep a dog that doesn't listen to its owner? Just throw it away. Isn't that dog expensive? Why is there no need for it to be mindful? The noble lady spoke. Yes, it will be obedient. It seems that it thinks it is noble and forgot why it was sold. Cheryl thought, could it be that the dog they are talking about is Cheryl, but is the dog's owner a stranger? Was Duke a stranger? The lady thanked her for her insight. She doesn't know if she can train the dog because it's stupid, but she will try. Cheryl thought, what on earth is that woman doing? They say the social world is a silent battlefield, but she got into a strange fight. The lady asked, by the way, it looks like she is planning to invite someone to the mansion later. Is she okay with it? Cheryl thought, what kind of fight is it this time? She doesn't know what this is about, but she can't lose. Then she replied, yes. Is there a problem? The lady said she wonders if the Duke will allow it. Madam, she will have to follow the Duke's instruction. Cheryl replied she worries too much about her. However, the Duke won't prevent her from inviting guests to the mansion. The lady stated the Duke is indifferent. Mrs. Penzel suddenly spoke. The tea tastes bad, and she also wanted to add something to the conversation they were having a while ago. She also raised a pretty pet parrot, but her pet parrot sometimes says things she doesn't understand. Bad words or disparaging words. How did it learn such mean words? Cheryl asked if she must have been very upset. So what did she do? Mrs. Penzel replied. How can she do anything? It's a bird, not a person. She can't cut off its tongue for speaking dirty words. She knew that he was playing with the knight of the family, but she can't let him show his face everywhere, so she is offering her a small reminder to use only pretty and appropriate words. The Countess spoke. Something strange happened, so she guesses she will have to check it out. Mrs. Penzel stated she thinks her appetite is slowly coming back now. Would she like some more cookies? Cheryl replied yes, thanks. The cookies are sweeter and more delicious than before. On the other hand, the birthday boy asked, isn't it? Cardessel thought he stayed away from the kids because he didn't want to play with them, but if he doesn't keep his promise, he will be hated. Then he replied, yes, it's delicious. Radius asked if he knows who he is. Cardessel replied yes, he knows the star of today's party. Radius asked if he was jealous. Cardessel replied absolutely not, because he doesn't envy him. The Countess's son came and asked if he thought Radius abandoned them, and was hanging out with someone great. Has he been playing with a kid like him? Radius replied why? Who he chooses to hang out with is up to him, right? The boy started shouting. Is he really saying this without knowing anything? This trash is savage because his blood is mixed with barbarian blood. His mom said that if they get close to something like that, he will be cursed. Cardessel stated can he take responsibility for those words? Then he remembered Aide telling him that the second most noble person in the empire, after the royal family, is Master Cardessel. Since he is someone with high power and status, he must learn appropriate etiquettes befitting his position. Then he thought when he grows up, that child won't even dare to raise his head in front of him. Then he said, He remembered the rumors well. He guessed that the boy will never learn to be careful of what he says in front of the Duke family. The boy was frightened. Radius asked, "So what is he going to do?" Cardessel replied, "It's the shame that he mentioned his father's background. He wouldn't do anything bad to him." The next moment, the Countess came and shouted they have to go. Her son was going toward him. Sheriel asked if his mom told him to get along with him because he was his age. "This isn't a matter for adults, right?" Radius replied, "Maybe." After some time, Mrs. Penzel asked, "How does she usually spend time with her child?" Suddenly, Sheriel felt dizzy. Then she thought a man shouted he will support her in everything, so use her face to somehow connect with a high ranking. What is he saying? Make the most of what's better than what he currently has. Then she thought, is this Sheriel's father? Even though it's only a fleeting memory, she feels uncomfortable. Mrs. Penzel asked if she's okay. Sheriel replied she's okay. She just suddenly became worried about whether her child is playing well. Mrs. Penzel spoke. It seems like she really cares about her child, if she is really worried, so they have to go to where the kids are. After some time, Mrs. Penzel asked what's all this fuss about. The maid replied, "The thing is, there was a problem between Master Loperam and Master Cree. Master Loperam was crying." Sheriel thought, what? She feels stupid. Cardessel is still a child, so why didn't she think that this could happen? The next scene, Sheriel stated it's okay now. Mom is here. Is he okay? Why is he crying? Then she thought, who made her son cry? Who dares to bother this little kid? It's her. Then she said, "Mrs. Serta, good. Please explain what this is." Mrs. Serta replied her child. He says he made a small mistake. Sheriel asked she doesn't have much patience, so can she simply tell her? Mrs. Serta replied her son says that Sheriel's child has barbarian blood. He insulted the Duke child. But she knows this is a common mistake made by children. Sheriel asked if she just said it was a mistake, then thought her family was constantly criticized at home, so the child must have listened and learned. Cardessel stated he said if he gets close to him, he will be cursed. Mrs. Serta spoke. She scolded the child quite harshly, so she can vent her anger at this point. Sheriel replied, "Does she apologize to her son for being hurt?" She scolded him harshly before slapping him on the face. Does she not even have the conscience to apologize to her own son? She won't say much. Apologize to my child now. Mrs. Cherdy shouted. Don't he hear her? He should apologize while she is being nice. The boy replied he hates it. His cheek hurts so much. Mrs. Cherdy shouted. Is he saying that he needs one more hit to come to his senses? Sheriel shouted, Lady Chert. Then Lady Chert stopped. She shouted, the madam is angry. Hurry up and apologize. The boy said he is sorry. He was wrong. Lady Chert stated she apologizes if her son hurt her feelings. Sheriel replied, do not touch him. She is trying to touch Cardessel with the same hands that touched her child. She will tell her husband about this personally. Then she looked at the kid and thought there couldn't be anything wrong with the child. They are just spirited. Kids can get excited too. Sheriel stated a child is not something she can treat carelessly. She can't forget someone like her. Then she thought when she gets back, she needs to see Duke first because this is an insult to Duke and a disgrace to their family. Then in the carriage, Sheriel apologized that Mom asked him to go together. Cardessel replied it's okay since Mom came and picked him up. He didn't make a fuss and got along well with the kids, and he kept the promise he made to Mom. So please don't leave him. Sheriel replied there is no way Mom would leave him now. Cardessel stated but it has always been like that in the past. Sheriel thought she understands the reason. He might resent her because it hasn't been even 2 months since the reconciliation. Why did Sheriel treat her child so coldly? Every time Cardessel does this, her heart hurts so much. Cardessel spoke. However, he kept his promise. Is there anything else she wants? Sheriel replied. Of course there is. He kept his promise to his mom today, and he was brave. She want to grant Cardessel one wish. Cardessel replied, then read him a story today before bedtime. After some time, Sheriel stated she guesses summer is around the corner. When it gets hotter, shall they go boating with Mom and Dad? The 3 of them will go. How is it? Does it sound really fun? Cardessel replied, not really. Sheriel told him if they go together, it will be more fun. Dad loves him as much as Mom does. Cardessel asked if she promises not to leave him. Then he doesn't care if Dad comes along. Sheriel replied, thanks, Mom will work harder for him. The next scene, Sheriel thought, what did Lady Charity mean by what she said at the party? Was Sheriel forcibly married to Duke? She doesn't even know why anyone would call Duke a barbarian. Why did she leave Cardessel alone? Why did Duke say that Sheriel hated him? Something is strange. She needs to remember the forgotten memories. Then she asked Daisy, in the Empire, what does it mean to be of foreign origin? Daisy was shocked. Why might she be curious about it? She apologizes if she have done something that offended her. Sheriel replied she have done nothing wrong. It's just that an unpleasant thing happened when she went to the party. There was a Count child who said Cardessel has barbarian blood mixed within him, and if he gets closer he will be cursed. Daisy exclaimed, what a rude child, is that why she asked? Sheriel stated actually after the accident, her memories are blurred. That's why she asked. Daisy asked if that's why she likes the young master so well. Sheriel replied, no way, when her memories come back, do she think things will go back to the way they were before? She loves Cardessel, and she knows that child is kinder and sweeter than anyone else. Daisy spoke she understands how Lady feels, but she thinks it would be better not to tell the master that she has lost her memories. She doesn't exactly know what happened between the two of them. She thinks there is a reason why her memories were distorted. Since the accident, she has changed a lot from before. If he finds out that her kindness is because of memory loss, the master will probably try to close his heart. When her memory comes back, it will be difficult to bear Lady's cold attitude again. Sheriel asked, doesn't Duke hate her? Daisy replied, is that even possible? If he did hate her, he wouldn't have spent that much money in order to get married to her. Sheriel asked, what do he mean by that much money? Daisy said, to save Lady's crumbling home, the master proposed to her first. He was so sincere. As for Countess Cordy's matter, after contacting the Marquis of Penzel and hearing the details, she will pass it on to the master. Sheriel asked why she wants to tell him. Daisy replied, the master will notice. Every time she mentions her, she always speaks coldly, and when it's related to the Countess, it would be considered strange to tell him to punish her. Don't worry. Since she insulted the only heir and even messed with the dukedom, they won't let her get away with it. Sheriel spoke. Please let her know what happens to the Countess family later. Then she thought about her husband who seems to push away but still cares for her. Her child and husband love her. Then why did she treat them harshly? What on earth happened? A week later, Daisy stated she have brought some refreshing news that in the future in social world, the Countess, oops, now she isn't a Countess anymore. She won't be able to show her or her son's face again. While investigating, it was revealed that the former Countess had been in a secret relationship with a family knight. To make matters worse, it was revealed that the child who attended the party was not the Countess' biological son. Sheriel replied she didn't want them to be punished this much. It must be karma they have built up. The next scene, Sheriel thought, where has Cardessel gone? Oh, there he is. He fell asleep instead of reading a book. He is so cute. Something is strange. He has a fever. His body is boiling. There is a cooling spell in the library. Therefore, it can't be hot in here. Cardessel thought Radius asked if he ever received nursing care when he was sick. His mum kept holding his hands to keep him from getting sick. Cardessel said he doesn't know because he has never been sick. He is a good son who doesn't make her worry, so it's true that he is loved more than him. She calls him our Cardessel because he is a good son who keeps his promise. Will she continue to treat him kindly in the future? As long as he doesn't call her mom like a child. Then he said his head hurts so much. After some time, the doctor said this is a pain because of growth. He will be sick for a few days. There is nothing wrong with his body, so don't worry too much. Sheriel asked if this fever is also because of his growth. His whole body felt like a ball of fire. The doctor stated that's because his innate ability is fire. Every time his strength increases, His body cannot withstand it, and he gets sick. The basic treatment is being taken care of, so he will sleep soundly. After some time, Cardessel said it hurts, it's hot, so painful. Sheriel stated it's okay. Mom will continue to be by his side, Cardessel said. Mom. Sheriel was shocked that Cardessel called her mom. She replied, "Yes, Mom is here." Cardessel said, "Well, he was wrong. He was not supposed to give in like a child. He won't do that again, so please don't hate him." Sheriel hugged him and told him why would Mom hate Cardessel. She is so happy that he called her mom. Don't say that he won't act like a child. He doesn't have to be like that from now on. Cardessel can be as silly as he wants. Then after some time, Duke came and asked why she is not sleeping. Sheriel replied he scared her. Why hasn't he slept yet? He must be tired from working late into the night. Is he here because he is worried about Cardessel? Duke replied because he is the heir of the family. He just came to check on him. Sheriel replied, "Don't worry too much." Then she thought he said he must have been tired from working until late at night. But it took the time to come here. He is such a dishonest person. Then she said she will stay by his side all night long. Duke asked if she is planning something. Sheriel spoke. Is it strange? Duke replied, if she were, he would know, it would be strange. Sheriel asked what if she decides to change. Duke stated people don't change in an instant. Sheriel asked how can he be sure of that. Duke replied because she hates him and Cardessel. Sheriel spoke it may have been like that before, but she doesn't hate him that much now, especially our Cardessel. Duke asked is that why she was so angry with Lady Penzel when she insulted their child. There is no way she would be so angry just because she brought up her child's origins, Sheriel stated, but the child is innocent. Duke spoke, yes, the child is innocent, then asked if she can hold his hand. That's strange, Sheriel said. Kian. Duke stated she even hated touching him, and now she calls him by his first name, and now she is even holding his hand. Did she lose some of her memories in that accident? If the painful memories from before had completely disappeared, it wouldn't have been so bitter. Approaching her would have been easy and amusing. Sheriel thought she should have hidden it well, but she made a mistake. What if Duke is hurt, as Daisy said? Duke stated if that had not happened between them, she would have made him like this. It breaks his heart to know that she doesn't hate him. Duke hugged her while saying he likes the way she smiles brightly like a spring flower, when she comes and whispers softly in his ears, even her tickling voice, everything about her was good. When her memories come back, he won't be able to get close to her again. Can she please let him be selfish just until then? Sheriel replied, first, let go of her. If Kian wants this, he can do it as much as he wants. She knows he is a sweet and kind person. Now she knows that the reason he seems blunt is that he is embarrassed. Is he afraid that her memories will come back, and she will turn away from him and be harsh to him again? Looking at him with cold eyes, is he afraid of getting hurt? Even if her memories return, she won't forget Kian's warmth. Is he the same person who acted coldly during the meal? Duke replied she remembered it. He thought she forgot everything. He always waited for her smile. Sheriel asked if he still loves her. Duke replied, yes, he still loves her, no matter how harshly she behaves, and even if she treats him coldly, just one smile of her melts his heart. Sheriel thought he says such strong things so casually. Then Duke kissed her hair. Sheriel thought she is so ashamed of herself. Today he is handsome again. He is making trouble for people too. He is so close. Then she said our child is over there. He is so close. Duke replied her face is hot. Is she embarrassed? Then Duke spoke he likes the moment when she comes to him, because he knows she will disappear from his sight anyway. He wants to like her as much as possible when she is in front of him. Sheriel asked if he is really scared now. Duke replied he would be lying if he said he was not scared. Actually, he is afraid of the day that will come when she will look at him with disgust. But he doesn't want to leave her side. He thinks he will regret it. He will always love her. Sheriel thought she is too embarrassed to say anything. She needs to calm down. First, let's send Kian back. Then she said, please go back. Today she has to keep looking after Cardessel. Duke asked, Wouldn't it be better if we do it together? Cheryl thought Cardicil's help her. Mom's heart is pounding so fast, she is going crazy. Cardicil said he is dizzy. He thinks he also has a fever. It was too noisy. It will be okay. Mom can continue looking after him. Cheryl stated, Duke, she is sorry, but she thinks it would be better if Cardicil and she were alone tonight. Duke replied he knows how to deal with his sickness, because he experienced it around this time too, so if he is with her. Cardicil stated it's noisy. Mom, Dad is too loud. His head is ringing, and he thinks it's going to break. Duke thought that he never thought his successor would do a trick like this. Cheryl shaded Kian. Go and rest in his room. She will take care of him by herself. The next day, Cheryl thought she is so tired now, she can't concentrate at all. Then asked, how is Cardicil now? Daisy replied he felt refreshed and had lunch with great energy. It seems like he is recovering quickly. The next moment Cardicil came and asked if he can stay here. Cheryl replied what Mom does would not be fun for him. Is that okay? Cardicil replied yes, while she is working, he will just sit down and rest. After some time, rain started. Cheryl stated she was planning to go boating with Cardicil. Cardicil replied he doesn't mind, but his father won't be able to go with them. Cheryl asked why he can't go. Cardicil replied yesterday his father said he was very busy, and his father doesn't like that much. Suddenly Duke came and asked if he feels like something is going on behind his back. Is it because of his mood? As Cardicil said it's true that he is busy, but to him, she comes first. If they have time, they can do it anytime, so let's go together. Cardicil said, Mom, then when they ride a carriage, can he sit next to Mom? Duke stated he will sit next to her. They should do that because Cardicil cut his sentence and said, isn't his father busy, and Mom likes to sit next to him. Duke stated there's plenty of time to spend with his mom, and Cheryl is his wife before she is his mother. Cheryl thought she wishes they could become friends. It would be so nice. But there won't be any progress like this. Then she said, it's not okay if they keep fighting with each other. Let's both leave this room for a minute. Duke was shocked, and so was Cardicil. Cheryl stated, Kian, why is he acting so immature around his child? He is supposed to be Cardicil's dad. How can he display such behavior towards his own beloved son? And Cardicil speaking to his father that way is considered disrespectful. If Dad wants to spend time with Cardicil, pushing him away would not be right. Cardicil replied, Mom, he was wrong. From now on, it won't be like that, so please don't kick him out. Cheryl said she is not kicking him out. Mom just likes to give small punishment to Dad and Cardicil when they fight. From now on, she wants both of them to hold hands and go for a nice stroll together. Since it's raining outside, they can stroll through the corridors of the mansion instead, Duke replied. But there is no need to take it to that extreme. Cardicil also said his dad and he are very close. Cheryl stated, did neither of them hear what she said? She won't welcome them until they are properly punished. Then she said to Daisy, will she guide these troublemakers to the corridor? Duke picked him up and said, it's hard to control being part of the situation, so just hold on to him tight. Cardicil replied he is also holding him because Mom told him to. Then he said, take a good look and tell Mom what happened. Daisy replied she will inform Her Highness that he held the Duke's hand firmly. The maids thought it's the first time they have seen the two of them go out together. Lately, Madam seems to be paying more attention to the young master. Duke thought he didn't expect to work around the corridor while being watched by the maids. Cardicil asked if this was because of father. Duke replied, is he blaming him? This happened because he lied. That's the reason things unfolded this way. Cardicil told him if Mom had overlooked just a bit, there wouldn't have been a need for punishment. Then he asked father why there is no response. Duke thought expressing such petty feelings towards such a young child, it's natural for Cheryl to be upset. Duke said he was wrong. Cardicil thought his father was apologizing. Duke asked why he is silent, and Cardicil replied, but still, he likes Mom more. Duke replied even if Cheryl likes him more, he is still her husband. Cardicil asked, Mom just admitted that she likes him more. Don't she? Duke stated his son is charmingly misunderstanding something. After some time, Daisy said it seems like Madam was tired. Duke said he guesses he should move her to the bedroom. Then he said she feels surprisingly light. Daisy said Madam has lost a lot of weight. How about taking care of Lady by sharing a meal together? Madam has been concerned about whether the Duke has been taking proper care of his meals. Duke asked if Sheriel has been worried about him. Daisy continued. She mentioned that eating alone seems to have a negative impact on his appetite. Despite wanting to share meals together now, she finds herself hesitant to ask due to the incident from last time. After some time, Duke said she looks even more beautiful when she is asleep. Cardessel replied, Mom is always beautiful. She is also kind to servants too. Duke said especially when she smiles. It's beautiful and enchanting. Sheriel thought, what are they going on about now? She is glad their relationship has improved. But she feels so embarrassed that it's almost mortifying. Why did it suddenly go quiet? Did they leave? Then she opened her eyes. Duke and Cardessel were there looking at her. Like this video. Hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.